And as I'm talking about, Julia, she's my best friend and da-da-da, I'm going off. And then, my uncle goes in the back and goes, "What about your other sister, huh?" And the whole crowd laughed. But I played along with it. I was laughing at myself too. I'm like, yes, I know my other sister, Lorena, she's amazing too. This isn't about it right now. And what that did is I had the visuals, I had the slide deck, I had the path I was going down, but I'm a human being. It's not like this perfect word by word script. I'm being Daniel, and that's what people want to see. That vulnerability where I was like, I love this guy so much. He's my brother. Obviously, I cried many times. Everyone's hooked. What's up everyone, how's it going? My name is Daniel Francis, and in today's video, I'm gonna be breaking down what allowed me to give a really good best man speech. And I say that not because I thought it was good, well I thought it was good, but I got a crazy amount of feedback from a good chunk of the audience, probably about 160 people, maybe 150. And I've never experienced such a great response from so many people, like literally, when I first walked into, my sister just got married and I was chosen to become the best man. And initially when I first walked into the wedding hall, no one really knew me. I was like just Julia's brother, which is my sister. So my family knew me, but there was, her husband's side. And then after I gave the speech, literally, I would say at least 30, 40, 50, 60 people who I didn't know when I first walked in came up to me, literally shook my hand. Like that was such a great speech. And what I want to do in this video is kind of break down the 5 things that I did that allowed me to give such a great speech. So if you're ever going to give a talk for, if you're a best man, I've had many people join my program because they're like, I want to give a great best man speech when I get chosen. This video is going to be exactly for you. So with that being said, if you want to like, comment, and subscribe, some love down below helps with the algorithm, helps grow this channel. And I get to understand what you guys want. So if you guys enjoy this video, be sure to share some love in the comment section below. Key number one is visuals. What do I mean by that? Well, I got into a little battle with my sister because when she was planning her wedding, I said, look, Julie, if I'm gonna give a best man speech, I want you to have a projector out. And she's like, what? I'm not gonna spend $100 on a projector. Obviously, after I gave the speech, she was very happy that she did it. But the reason why I did is because, I could have easily grabbed the mic and just spoke. But what I did is I built a little presentation deck. And a presentation deck was very simple. It had like a title, and it also had pictures. So what that did is it gave a visual of, Esteban, which I was the best man for, which is her husband, that everyone could see. So I showed old pictures of me and him. And what that did is, for the audience, they could actually visually see what I'm talking about. But the second thing is, it allowed me to kind of prep out what I was going to talk about. So I actually broke down my presentation, and we'll have a couple slides so you can kind of see like a general overview of it. But I broke it up into 5 phases. So like phase 1 was how I first met Esteban. Phase 2 was how I started to grow respect for him. And then phase 3 is who he represents. Phase 4 is my sister. And then phase 5 is the future. And I broke it up, and that allowed me to kind of follow this pace. And I got a lot of compliments because people could follow along. They knew it was from 1 to 5 and they can keep up with it. Just like even doing YouTube videos, people love a pace and a visual that they can see, so it keeps them kind of tagged along. So even though I'm giving a 10 to 15 minute speech, people even told me after, they said, I could have just heard you speak all night. And obviously that wasn't just from my mom. My mom did say that, but it was from other people as well. But people genuinely could keep listening. Like I saw everyone kind of be engaged in what I was saying because I had the visuals above me, and I could make jokes, and I could even commentate on the pictures. Like with Esteban being, a young man, or a silly picture that I took of him. It kind of got everyone engaged, and I was able to share my message. Now, number two is vulnerability. Vulnerability and also being genuine. So, a big thing what makes a great speaker is just being genuine and authentic. It's the reason why I do my Real Talk podcast. It's meant to just be a real, not filtered, just genuine conversation between two people. You know, some things could be fact checked or whatever, but it's the real conversation between two people. But the idea with a speech is what people love is just a genuine person up there. So I spoke about myself. I spoke about the amount of love I had for this person. I talked about our journey. Even when I screwed up or I said something stupid, you know, like my uncle, he's very funny, but I have two sisters, and I talked about, you know, Julia, because she's the one getting married, but I also had another sister named Lorena. And as I'm talking about, you know, Julia, she's my best friend, and da-da-da, I'm going off. And then, you know, my uncle goes in the back and goes, "What about your other sister, huh?" And the whole crowd laughed. But I played along with it. I was laughing at myself too. I'm like, yes, I know my other sister, Lorena, she's amazing too. This isn't about her right now. And what that did is I had the visuals, I had the slide deck, I had the path I was going down, but I'm a human being. It's not like this perfect word by word script, right? And what that does is it shows that I'm a real person. I'm very authentic. I'm hitting the heart. I'm not just being so logical where I gotta just read it word for word on my script. I'm being Daniel, and that's what people wanna see. That vulnerability where I was like, I love this guy so much. He's my brother. Obviously, I cried many times. Everyone's hooked. And what that does is it gets my message out across. Everyone's listening, and I'll talk about this in other points. But you know, one thing, I've given so many speeches, I read the whole crowd. So I had like a table in front of me, and I could see everyone's eyes were just like locked in. I even had the videographer of the wedding come up to me and say, "Daniel, when you said this is gonna be about 8 to 10 minutes long," I go, "Oh my God, I don't know if I can really wait 8 to 10 minutes. You know, because usually they end up being 30 minutes, right? And then he came up to me, he's like, "Daniel, dude, like that was amazing. Like genuinely, that was really good." And it was because I was being real. I had a deck, and I made eye contact. I read the whole crowd, and I made sure everyone's engaged. And you know, usually as you get better with public speaking, you can start to tell when you know people are into it. And the second part is you should also know when people are getting bored and they start yawning a little bit. And they stop maybe paying as much attention, because you got to have that social awareness of the whole crowd. So again, number 2, being vulnerable, being real, being genuine, being honest and sincere, and just, hey, this is me, whether you like me or not, whether I say something wrong or not, this is who I am. And people love that aspect. Number 3, humor. Okay, this is a big thing. You know, I've talked about this in the past. The concept of edutainment is so real. Edutainment meaning you can educate, but you can also entertain, right? So humor is the one thing that kind of breaks the ice, right? So I learned this in sales. Like for example, when I was, when I would knock doors and I would get into someone's home and I would present them, I knew it would get very tense at the end because they would have to make a decision. So I'd talk about all the numbers and what they got to do and da-da-da-da-da. And then one thing that I would do at the end, because I knew in order for them to say yes or kind of get them to make a decision, I had to break the tension. What I would do is I would say, okay, so, if I was selling internet, okay, so we're gonna get you this speed of internet, it's gonna be twice as fast, we're gonna give you all the TV channels, brand new PVR boxes, home phone, XYZ, free install, and right now you're paying about $200 a month with tax. With taxes, it's gonna be about $178, so you're gonna be saving about $20, $22 a month. Cool? And also, one big thing, and then when I would talk to a couple, they would it's like, oh my God, this obviously makes sense, but da-da-da-da-da. And I would say, okay, so now I do have to share with you one thing, and I should have said this to you before, and I'm preparing for the humor. I go, see, I do have to, damn, I should have told you this before. And they go, what? I go, we do have to break down or knock down one wall in this home. I'm thinking this wall over here. And I would let them sit with that. We're just installing internet, okay? There's no walls we gotta break down. But I would say that, and it would be so crazy that they would get so serious, and then I would say this joke, and they would go, ah. So, and then I'd be like, okay, so it's very simple. All we gotta do is book a date, we get you installed, and you guys get faster internet and a better price. Cool? So that concept, I applied that in public speaking. So the idea of I can be serious, I can cry, I can talk about my relationship with Esteban and him going from a boy to a man, And then make stupid jokes of like, also this is him being hammered in Cancun, and this is him with a tequila bottle. This was 3 o'clock in the morning, him being an idiot. And then pausing and everyone laughing. Or, you know, like my uncle saying, how about Lorena, your other sister? I'm like, oh no, yes, I forgot about Lorena, I'm sorry. You know? Or another thing is, when I was giving my speech, the mic wasn't actually close to my mouth. So it was down here, and then my dad goes, Daniel, bring up the mic, right? And some people would get embarrassed by that. I go, okay, sorry about that. Sorry guys, can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? And I would do things like that to break the energy, break the repetitiveness. I'm serious, I'm emotional, but then it's fun, and that's what makes a great speech. The mix of both, right? Again, we always go back to the idea of I gotta be this perfect speaker that says every single word right. Wrong. Wrong. Be real, be genuine. Laugh at yourself. You know what's attractive? Someone who can laugh at themselves. You wanna be my friend? You better be willing to take jokes. If you can't take a joke, you might not be my friend for too long. Because that's what makes a genuine person. They can laugh at themselves. They can be stupid. They can be playful. They can be an idiot. But they also got a work ethic, and they can work hard too. The mix of both. So, hope you really get my point. Number 3, humor. Be fun. Now, number 4. Number 4 is pace. So, pace is almost like the tempo that you're going by. So when I gave my speech, I've given many speeches in the past, and one of the worst things people do is they just talk really fast. They want to get the whole thing out, and da-da-da-da, and da-da-da, and I'm almost done, and I'm halfway done, and blah, 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 and then, okay, thank you. Thank you all. You want a message to really sit in with someone? Take your time. Let what I'm saying sit with them. You know, another big thing, and I told my sister this, I go, Julia, I know not everyone's gonna like my speech. No, don't say that, Daniel. No, some people are gonna get bored. I even heard some people go, Daniel, you made a presentation deck for the best man speech? Oh my God, here we go. I just wanna be drinking right now, right? So I told Julia that. I said, Julia, this isn't about them. I'm gonna find the people that I wanna talk to, and that's who I'm gonna be talking to. And if you don't like it, not my problem. So I went into it with the right type of confidence, the right type of mindset, that this is about you and Esteban, right? This is about my mom, my nonna, my family, not to the person who wants to drink when I'm giving a best man speech, who's like, whatever, just hurry up with this thing. So because I had that mindset going into it, the idea is I'm taking my time. I'm not trying to rush it. If you don't like it, go to the washroom. Not my problem. Go outside for a walk. The speech will be done when it's done. At the same time, I'm not taking my time and I'm not spending 30 plus minutes, right? I know how to read the whole crowd. So when I go into it with that mindset, I'm gonna take my time. I'm gonna make sure that when I give the point of, this is Esteban as a boy, now he's a man. And that's why he's my brother, is because when I met him, he didn't have half of the confidence, a quarter of the confidence of who he is now. But I put him in situations because Esteban, my sister's husband now, used to work with me. And he used to actually knock doors with me, and he went through a lot of rejection, and then he's from Colombia and English is his first language, and da-da-da-da. I said, that's why I love this guy. You see that pace? I'm not rushing it. I'm taking my time. And I'm focusing on the people that I know who I'm talking to, right? I can see the bride and groom and they're bawling. I can see my parents going. I even had a couple of people who I haven't met before go, damn. Like I had a table in front of me of Esteban's family, and there were just a bunch of girls, and they're all just like this. Because I'm being emotional, I'm being vulnerable, being authentic, I'm taking my time. This is what I have to say. I'm not rushing it. Whatever happens, whatever happens. This isn't scripted. I mean, it's planned out, it's structured, it's not scripted. And I'm also waiting. See, when you pace things out, you put yourself in a situation where someone might heckle, right? If you rush through a whole thing, you're like, I'm not giving anyone a chance to say anything. I'm just gonna rush through it. Okay, done. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys both. Walk. I didn't do that. I took my time. So when I had the right pace, like for example, I pulled up a picture of my nonno, of my grandfather and my sister, and I go, I wish he was here, because he passed away in 2019. And that was genuine. And then I go, you know what? Let's give Nonno a round of applause. He would have loved to be here. Everyone's locked in. So taking my time. I got the right pace. And this ties into my fifth point, which is eye contact. See, eye contact and just reading a whole crowd, and I talk about this in my program, a great public speaker tries to make as much, and I got complimented on this. They go, one thing I liked about you, Daniel, is you made it a point to make sure that you looked around the room. You didn't look up in the air or look down to look straight. You made it a point, because I'm not scared. And I know there's some people who are not gonna pay as much attention. Who cares about those people? Literally, who cares? I'm talking to the 10 people that I know this is who it's for. And if it's just a bride and groom, it's gonna focus on the bride and groom. But, so I've done this many times, I'm looking at my uncles. I'm looking at my mom and dad. I'm looking at Esteban's family. I'm looking at Esteban's parents. I'm looking at the DJ, who's like nodding his head, because I'm making eye contact with everyone. And when I do that, I build a connection with them, because people feel like I'm talking to them. A great public speaker makes an audience feel like you're talking directly to them. Think about that for a second. I'm not like talking in this vague way. I'm talking directly to them, and they go, That's how I hit them in the heart. That's why when I gave my speech, I got a big round of applause, and then the bride and groom actually walked down, and they hugged me, and it was very special. After that happened, you can see everyone come to me and shaking my hand. That was so good. That was so good. That was so good. Because I know most people, it's number one fear in the world, public speaking. If I gave you a mic for, in front of close to 200 people, you have to give a 15-minute speech, how would you do? Most people would be freaking out, right? So you have to understand that. So I have a skill, and this is why you're watching these videos, is you're learning the skill of how to be a great public speaker, or how to be a great speaker as a whole. So that's number one. But then number two is being real. I didn't care. If you didn't like it, it's not my problem. This is what I'm about. This is who I'm talking to. I'm gonna look at everyone. And boom, I created that affinity. I created the message that I wanted to portray, and everyone loved it. So I hope that makes sense. We're gonna put all 5 points here one more time so you can write them all down. If you're not taking notes in these videos, man, I don't know what you're doing. If you're not taking notes, these are all 5 points again. Make sure you're applying them if you give a speech. I mean, it kind of goes in with every single thing you do in life. If you're giving a speech at work, you're being a leader to your sales team, you're a parent talking to your kids. It's very similar. And if you want to learn more of how I actually overcame my stutter through this process of public speaking, you can go to masteryourstutter.com. That's masteryourstutter.com. It's going to be in the description below, where you can learn exactly how I overcame my stuttering problem through literally this method. So if you struggle with speech, you have trouble with communication, you want to become a better version of yourself overall, go to masteryourstutter.com, and you can watch a free 30-minute plus training on exactly what I did to really overcome my stutter. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you got a lot of value from it. If you did, be sure to like, be sure to subscribe, be sure to share this thing with others who will get value from this. And with that being said, I'll see you in the next show. Peace.